Hello and welcome once again, buddy. We want to look at the best strategies to increase online brand awareness. So if you're a digital marketer and you're wondering which are the strategies available for you to be able to increase your brand awareness, then you're in the right place, right? So maybe without wasting much time, we can focus on what is brand awareness, right? So as you can see, brand awareness is a marketing term that refers to how familiar your target audience is with your brand and how well they recognize it, right? So brands with high brand awareness are generally referred to as trending. You can also call them the buzzworthy or simply popular brands. Now, what we are getting from this particular point is that if I know about your brand, there's high likelihood I can be able to purchase your product. That's the thing. So brand awareness is a very key thing in digital marketing. So you should always endeavor to ensure that you increase your brand awareness online, right? So establishing brand awareness is valuable when marketing and promoting your company and products, especially in the early stages of your business, right? So why should we focus on brand awareness, right? So why is it important? First, brand awareness builds brand loyalty and trust, right? And of course, brand awareness gives you a competitive edge. You can imagine that someone, or maybe within a given market segmentation, maybe 70% of the audience or customers know more about your product compared to your competitor. So that's an edge, right? So you should always endeavor to increase this particular brand awareness. Of course, brand awareness builds brand equity, right? Now, what is equity in this regard? It is actually ensuring that if people know about your brand, like maybe let's look at within the phone industry, where we have different types of phones, maybe from we have iPhone and so on. So if people know about a particular brand, maybe you have communicated about the features of that particular brand and so on. So also increase the perception or the perceived value of that particular brand, so that even if you go and tell your client that, you see, I'm selling this particular product at a higher price because of this and this, they're likely even to purchase it, even if the price is higher. So that is what we always talk about, building brand equity. We also focus on brand awareness because it affects who you can employ. No one wants to associate themselves with a poor performing brand, isn't it? So forget about your customers, even the people that you employ to work for you. Remember, one of the strategies in digital marketing is to have the resource, and one of the resources is time, budget, of course, people, right? So if people are not ready to associate with you, then how are you going even to implement this brand awareness strategy? So also it affects who you employ. Now, there are three killer stats about strong brand awareness that I so far maybe felt it was necessary to share. Like that 46% of consumers will pay more to purchase from brands they trust. So it goes back to the first bullet. Brand awareness builds brand loyalty and trust. So that is something that has been analyzed, and people have so far come to a conclusion. The other point is brands with consistent presentation increase revenue by as much as 33%, right? Talking about your brand, mentioning your brand every time increases its revenue. Of course, brand awareness takes 5 to 7 impressions to create. So those are some of the strong brand awareness points that we need to factor in. So I want us to quickly look at maybe what are the best strategies that you can always use. The first strategy is actually prioritize consistency. Prioritize consistency is being consistent in everything, be it creating of images, be it using of colors within your social media platforms such as websites or rather blogs, be it using a logo, right? All these, even your tone, even your language should be consistent with you. That is one strategy that people often maybe leave behind, and it's very, very important for us to achieve this particular strategy by implementing consistency. So I've given an example here, right? Even color plays a major role, and you have to be consistent. If your brand is blue, you're using blue, yellow on your social media platform, even on your physical platform or other office, you should have the same coloring. That's what we mean. Second strategy is to build a user-friendly website. Now, we're talking about website. We're not talking about social media platforms like TikTok, Facebook, right? We're talking about websites that you're going to direct traffic to. So when you're talking about user-friendly, first you have to look at the navigation. How are people going to navigate from one page to the other? How is it visually appealing, right? How is it easy, or how does it download? For example, when someone visits your website, how long does it take to open a given page, and so on? So you should maybe prioritize using some kind of images that can download very fast, right? And of course, you can always frequently do some maintenance on your website to increase its user friendliness. After a website, also you have to get to write a blog. Now, if you've been following this particular channel, I've been talking about search engine optimization, and if you have a blog that you use to drive your or to do some kind of content marketing, then that could be a good strategy to increase your brand awareness. How do you want to explain to people about your brand? So it's by producing content, right? So people will always read about your brand, or rather if they go to your blog, they'll find some kind of informative content about your brand, right? So apart from that, it's also important to post consistently, because an outdated blog, or with a blog that has outdated content, will always be a very bad or show a very bad picture, and therefore people will not notice your brand, right? So that's another strategy. Also, you need to stay active on your social media platforms. Now, this is about how you schedule, maybe how you post your content. You could be doing it on a weekly basis, right? Or maybe twice in a week, right? So if you're not using social media platform for your business right now, then you're missing the greatest opportunity to increase your brand awareness. So social media platform gives you direct access to your customers and allows you to engage them in a meaningful dialogue. So I've so far talked about these social media platforms when you are talking about the best strategies of your digital marketing campaign. And you see, according to Statista, there are different platforms. Like, for example, Facebook enjoys a whopping 3 billion active users. We also have 2.4 users on YouTube, 2 billion on Instagram, and 1.5 billion on TikTok. Now, ask yourself, how are you going to tap into this particular traffic on these particular social media platforms, right? So at least you have to do some kind of analysis on these platforms and see where your customers are. So if they frequent on Facebook, then you can capitalize on being active on Facebook. If they prefer YouTube, then it should be there. Ultimately, you need to post regularly to engage conversations with your audience and make sure your social media brand voice is cohesive across all the channels. Now, tell stories or tell a narrative around your brand, right? Don't just assume that people know about your brand. They say that the best or the convenient strategy of capturing the attention of any person is by telling stories. So that thing also applies when you want to attract your audience to your brand. So storytelling is a powerful marketing strategy for marketing products or promoting your brand. Why? Because it gives your audience something to reel or latch onto. Crafting a narrative around your brand humanizes it and gives it depth. Weaving this narrative into your marketing helps to market your brand alongside your products. Now, we are trying to eliminate the fact that we have a company and we have a person. People like associating themselves with a person, not even a robot, right? So what should your narrative be about? Anything, as long as it is true. It can be how you founded your company, how you brought about your product. I mean, there are a lot of things that you can talk about this particular brand to ensure that people relate with it, right? The other strategy is enlist influencers to market your brand. I mean, influencer marketing has exploded in the popularity, and for good reason. It works, though people claim it is expensive because you have to pay these influencers, but you can always look for influencers that maybe can do this marketing for free or at affordable price. So if it's appropriate for your brand, consider partnering with a social media influencers who can promote your business on their channel. And of course, you should only partner with influencers who align your brand image and share your target audience. I hope you get the point. Don't just go for any influencer. For example, if it's an influencer who is known to promote let's say financial assets, or rather things to do with finance, and also you are in that same niche with him or her, you can always use them rather than going for an influencer who is known to promote maybe vehicle related content, right? So encourage them to be creative and authentic in how they promote your brand, so that your followers are more likely to support you. And then the other strategy when it comes to increasing online brand awareness is use of variety of media, right? So a solid presence on various social media platforms can increase your brand visibility. So consider creating visual content, especially video branding, right? So it doesn't matter whether you post long form tutorial videos or 30-second clips. Find a video flow that works for you and your audience and post it regularly. You can also factor in the use of podcasting, which actually people have embraced a lot recently. Choose a topic and episode format that will resonate well with your audience. Also, will bring to your attention the guest blog or guest blogging on other people's niche websites. It's also a good way of increasing your online brand awareness. So guest blogging is one of the best ways to increase brand awareness with minimal effort. You can take advantage of traffic on other people's websites, right? So you can analyze your competitors or rather someone's website using free tools, look at their traffic, and then you can always approach them so that you guest blog. And when you guest blog, you can share your website link or your social media links. So in other words, you are not just pushing out your product on people who aren't ready to buy, but writing in your brand voice and presenting yourself as human first, then company second. Search engine optimization is very, very important in as far as increasing your brand awareness is concerned. So you have to boost all your content through SEO. So SEO is a strategy to increase ranking on your website on major search engines, Google being one of them, right? So with top spot on Google search page, taking 28.5% of all clicks will be ideal, right? And I've also given an example here. So by the time you have reached the 10th position, the average click-through rate drops all the way down to 2.5%. So ideally creating engaging content with a lot of keywords, right, and ensuring that your customers get to understand your brand through search engine ranking could be ideal, right? And then maybe the 10th and probably one of the last option in our strategy formulation for brand awareness is invest on online reputation management. What we normally say is that people will always remember how you treated them or what you said, right? So if it was positive, well and good. If it was negative, well and good. So how do you manage how people respond to you online, right? So that you maintain your reputation, because your reputation can easily be damaged when someone comments negatively, right? So every established brand has an online reputation, and customers can have a negative impact on that reputation. So even you, where you are, I believe you have seen some people complaining, maybe because of a product they comment. So you have to take time to respond to that, right? So that it helps you control how your business and brands are seen online. So ideally, how do you measure your brand awareness? You see, after you've done all these strategies or implemented all these strategies, how do you then say that your brand awareness strategy has or is successful? So first, you can carry out some survey, what we refer to as brand awareness surveys. So one of the most tried and tested ways is to benchmark by conducting some brand awareness surveys. You can create free Google Forms to capture the feedback of your customers through surveys. So when they are conducted regularly, surveys will provide a human-driven readout of that aided or unaided brand awareness. The other one is to use the social listening strategy. Of course, there are tools that can enable you achieve this, right? Is a powerful way to measure brand awareness, perception, sentiment, and a host of other metrics related to how the public sees your brand. What do they say about your brand online, right? So social listening tools will scrap through your online social platforms, and of course will give you an understanding of what people say about your brand. You should also leverage on use of Google Trends and Google Analytics to measure your brand awareness. These are free tools that offers comparisons. You can also rely on Google Trend, right, to see how your brand is performing online. And then lastly, you can use brand tracking software. You can just search for brand tracking software. There are quite a number. It also allows you to measure your brand and build your brand awareness, right? So I believe those are some of the strategies that you can be able to use to increase your online brand awareness, right? So if you have any recommendation or suggestion, you can always share within the comment section. Should you find this information useful, you can always like the video, and of course don't forget to be part of our community. All right, thanks.